Good morning and welcome to Wake Up to Broker Up with Mark, episode number 5 for 2023. Liar, liar, pants on fire. You may remember that from when you were a kid. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Well, how does that apply to real estate? Well, glad you asked. Well, here's the deal. I think when we represent a seller, we have an obligation to make sure that the seller's property disclosure is correct and to make sure that the seller fully explains and provides information about the property, which means that we should, when the seller completes the seller's property disclosure statement, review the seller's property disclosure statement with the seller and make sure the seller properly represented the property. Now, obviously, because we don't live there, we can't know everything there is to know about the property, but we can, because we're experienced professionals, we can walk the property ourselves and make observations and make sure that those observations that we made, because they're readily apparent, are on the seller's property disclosure statement. Notice I didn't say we should fill out the seller's property disclosure statement, because obviously we should never fill out the seller's property disclosure for the seller. But we should review it for accuracy and make sure that it actually reflects the property that's being sold. Now, here's the reason that I bring this up, because this week we had a broker reach out to one of our brokers, and it was about how the property was marketed. So this is not necessarily seller's property disclosure statement, but this is how the property was marketed. And it called into question new HVAC system, new electrical system, new plumbing, because parts of that, each one of those systems was replaced. However, a lot of it was still the same. So some of the electrical was done when the new things were added, but they didn't go back and rewire the whole house. HVAC condenser unit was added outside, as was a new furnace inside, but all the piping, the ductwork, etc. was not replaced. It was the same as the original ductwork in the house. Same thing with, wow, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, so the systems were not replaced. And yet the property was advertised as new HVAC system, not new condenser and new furnace. Same with electrical, not some new electrical outlets, some new electrical fixtures that have been rewired, but it was more marketed that the whole thing was done. Now, why do we bring this up? Because the buyer did a property inspection on the property and then came out and found out that all these things were not replaced totally. So the buyer ended up terminating, but the broker was upset because of the way the property was marketed, and also upset that the buyer spent money on it thinking that they were getting a new house with new systems, and instead they were not. So how do you avoid that? You got to make sure properties are advertised correctly. There is, if you want to read some frightening information, you go and read about E&O claims, where people had said that they replaced a whole system only to find out after closing that they did not, and then sued and won an E&O claim. So be careful out there. Use common sense. Make sure that what you're advertising is indeed what's exactly going on with the property. And I know that's a big deal, but it can be a big deal. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.